All right, so by now I'm sure you're puzzled about the problem of why in the world kiwis are in giant eagle, those strange brown, furry, testicular-looking fruit that aren't all that good. Now that you might think that's a terrible thing, why are kiwi? But the problem is that they aren't there because the government puts them there at all. They're there for some reason, though, and the government doesn't make us put them there. There's a lot of strange things in the supermarket that the government has nothing to do with, like that bizarre bread. Have you seen all those breads, like brown breads that normal people can't eat, and strange with twigs and nuts and bugs in them bread? Why is all that stuff in the supermarket? Shouldn't the government get involved and say, out with that nonsense? We just put common, normal, good things there, like apples and bologna? Well, there's a reason that there's strange things in the supermarket. And the reason for that was already described to us by John Locke. If I can come up with some way to produce a product that people want, that would then mean that I have given value to the world that wasn't originally in the world. So what Locke will say is that what is it that increases liberty is actually education. And so Locke, as it turns out, is one of the most important philosophers of education that exists. And if you look up in Spark News, there's a wonderful thing on Locke's words on education. So as it turns out, God gives us our life and God gives us our liberty for Locke. And then we have to figure out how to improve that liberty. And the more you learn, the more liberty you get. And the more liberty you get, the more ability you have to accumulate more stuff. So somebody had to figure out, probably a lot of somebodies, how to figure out how to get kiwis that originally grew in New Zealand or Australia, ship them to California, get them to grow in California, and then develop some way that they wouldn't rot on the way to Pittsburgh and Penn Highlands. And that means there had to be roads built, and those roads, though they were essentially built by the government, they were not built for the sake of getting kiwis to the giant eagle. And yet, the trucks had to be built that would bring them across. So all of this depends upon highly educated people trying to build their own wealth, trying to increase their own estates, and by doing that, all kinds of products that become available to us. And so the reason that kiwis are in giant eagle is not because the government puts them there, but because people want them because they've been available through education. And that is the trick of John Locke, is that education is what creates liberty, and liberty is what creates wealth. So your wealth is my good fortune, because the only way you get wealthy is by delivering me a product that I can't get some other way. And the only way you can get me to pay for that product is if you can deliver it so efficiently, so effectively, that I can actually afford it. And that's why those wicked little kiwis are in the giant eagle, because somebody figured out a way to get them to the giant eagle at a low enough price that you're willing to pay for them. But they aren't very good. That much I do want to tell you. All right, back in a bit.